The Dragonflight pre-patch is soon to be with us, and so I wanted to make this video to highlight everything new that you can expect when the pre-patch drops. Firstly, I want to point out that there are a couple of things in the pre-patch that are not confirmed to be available on day 1. While some things are definitely going to be incorporated into the pre-patch, there is reason to believe that contents of the pre-patch may be released in 2 separate waves. The main concern here is with Dracthyr Evokers. As of the time of this video, it isn't confirmed that they will be playable at the very start of the pre-patch. During PTR testing for the pre-patch event, Dracthyr Evokers were not available to play, and they didn't even show up in the character creation page, so they may not be with us until later on in the pre-patch. This could change before the pre-patch fully launches, but even if you can't create your evoker until a week or 2 into the pre-patch, you should still have plenty of time to level it through their new starting experience and get to grips with their new abilities and talent trees. The other thing that may not be immediately available during the pre-patch is the pre-patch event itself, which in this case are the Primal Storms. We will talk in more detail about what the Primal Storms entail later on, but just be wary that you may not be able to get stuck into that content until later on in the pre-patch. With that out of the way, let's look at what is actually going to be available on day 1 of the pre-patch. Firstly, the pre-patch will bring with it all the new race class combinations. From the pre-patch onwards, every race in the game, except for Dracthyr, will be able to play as mages, priests, and rogues. This means mages will become available to Tauren and High Mountain Tauren, priests will be playable for Orcs and High Mountain Tauren, and rogues will be available to Draenei, Lightforged Draenei, Tauren, and High Mountain Tauren. Next, the remastered Uldaman dungeon will be playable for all players at level 60. The new Uldaman Legacy of Tyr dungeon is located in the same place as the original Uldaman dungeon in the Badlands, and you will be able to queue for it in the Dungeon Finder or run it with your own group if you prefer. The dungeon layout is the same, but you will face 5 brand new bosses from dwarves to trogs to infinite dragons, and the storyline itself is tailored to the lore of Dragonflight. The new Uldaman dungeon will also be incorporated into the Mythic Plus pool during Dragonflight. The new talent system will also be introduced with the pre-patch, allowing players to spend talent points in 2 separate trees, their class tree and their specialization tree. You will have roughly 25 points to spend in each tree depending on your class and spec, and you have many different builds you can create depending on your playstyle or your circumstance. For instance, you may have completely different talent pathways for single target fights compared to your AoE build, and you could even make a different set of talents for PvP or outdoor content like solo questing, farming, and so on. You can easily swap between each of these talent sets with the new talent loadout system, which is also going to be available in the pre-patch. You can make separate talent builds and label them accordingly, allowing you to switch between them with ease without the need for add-ons. You can also import talent builds if you wish to directly copy another player's talent loadout. The updated UI will be available in the pre-patch, allowing you to freely customize pretty much your entire interface. The new UI includes updated player, target, and focus target frames, as well as new raid frames, action bars, cast bar, minimap, and more. You can change the layout of your UI in the Edit Mode function in the Game Options menu. This will allow you to select a component of your UI to then customize it to your liking. You can move and resize each element and toggle the grid to align things more accurately if you need to. One of the biggest aspects of the UI update are the new action bars. The default action bars can now be customized to have multiple rows or columns, and you can place them in any format you wish, similar to add-ons like Bartender. You may also keybind your action bars more efficiently in the Quick Keybinding mode, which lets you select keybinds for each action bar by hovering your mouse over an ability on your bar and then pressing the keybind you wish to assign to it. Once you're happy with your UI, you can then save it and opt for the changes you've made to be universal across your account or to be character specific. Another change to the UI is in your inventory. You can now choose whether you'd like your default bags to be separate, as they always have been, or you can combine all of your bags into one by toggling the option in the drop-down menu of your main bag. You can do so much with your new UI, so be sure to spend time on this and optimize it to your playstyle and preferences. Finally, let's talk about the pre-patch event. Although it isn't confirmed to be available at the start of the pre-patch, it's still worth knowing what you can expect from it and what rewards you can farm. You should be introduced to the new Primal Storms event through a new questline that will be available from Stormwind or Orgrimmar that will prompt you to complete your first Primal Storm event. The Primal Storms will occur on a rotation in Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms, similar to the demon invasions in Legion. In Kalimdor, Primal Storms will spawn in the Northern Barrens and Ungoro Crater, and in the Eastern Kingdoms they will be in Tirisful Glades and the Badlands. Each zone will have a different storm type, and these appear to be fixed, meaning that each zone will only ever see one storm type. Northern Barrens will always have the Earth invasion, Tirisful Glades will have a fire invasion, Ungoro Crater a storm invasion, and finally a water invasion in the Badlands. You can see where and when an elemental invasion is up by the new icons on your world map, as well as how long is left for each event. When you approach a primal storm, the weather of the area will change, and you will see an elemental sigil in the centre of the affected area. Nearby mobs will have their level raised to 60 and be buffed with elementally imbued, making them more powerful. A mini-boss will also spawn, but they will have a shield on them that makes them unattackable. You need to kill enough of the mobs in the area to break the mini-boss's shield so that you can kill them and end the event. The boss and the mobs have a chance to drop item level 252 gear, which is great for catching up any ults in preparation for Dragonflight, but if you don't need catch-up gear, it's at least another transmog set for you to farm if you would like to. There is a transmog set for each armor type, and they are all blue versions of the Dragonflight questing sets that you'll see when working through the main Dragonflight campaign. You can also earn a pre-patch specific feat of strength for defeating each of the 4 storm bosses, earning you the Against the Elements achievement. This should be straightforward to complete considering that each storm will only be active in one of the 4 zones, so you'll know where to go for each one. Killing these event mobs and the mini-boss will also reward you with Primeval Essences, which are a new currency specific to this pre-patch event. You can spend these essences at the new vendors by the Dragon Isles Boatmaster in Stormwind or at the Zeppelin Master just outside Orgrimmar. The vendors offer a couple of rewards, including every piece of the catch-up gear we mentioned earlier, including weapons, necklaces, rings and trinkets, meaning you can polish off your collection if you are struggling to get the gear to drop from the mobs themselves. You can also buy the Bag of Furious Winds toy for 100 essences, which spawns a vortex above your character's head that sucks in nearby critters for 10 seconds. There is also a new heirloom trinket available during this event, but it cannot be purchased, it has to be crafted. You can craft the new heirloom by collecting rare drops from each of the 4 storm bosses and combining them. You need to loot dimmed primeval earth, fire, storm and water from the corresponding bosses and then use the items to combine them into an heirloom, which can then be added to your collections journal. This means that you only need to farm it on one character to have it available for all of your characters. The trinket itself offers a main stat bonus, as well as an equip bonus which causes your abilities to have a chance to deal extra damage and to buff your allies. This could be great for any ults that you wish to level through dungeons or PvP. So that's everything new coming in the Dragonflight pre-patch. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!